Well, it's probably the hottest transfer rumor of the summer so far. Where in the world is Harry Kane going to go? We spoke with James Ollie on Friday because we were hearing Chelsea were in the market and were willing to offer players plus cash to get Spurs' top man. Mark Ogden is joining me right now as we focus on the two Manchester clubs, Oggy, that we are hearing heavily linked with Harry Kane. Let's start with Manchester City in terms of offering players plus cash, because we know that the COVID pandemic has impacted clubs negatively and financially. So Manchester City, we're hearing that they could offer Gabriel Jesus as well as Laporte plus cash for Harry Kane. Are these the kind of players that you'd expect?
Well, I mean, it boils down to what Tottenham want, and I think Tottenham are in a bit of a position of strength here because they've got Harry Kane who's got 3 years left of his contract, and they're not going to let their best player go for any old players. Basically, they're going to want a big down payment of cash. And I think if you look at the players that have been suggested, well, Gabriel Jesus at City has had he's had a mixed time at City. He's not really progressed as City would expect him to. I think when they signed him, they expected him, I hope, to become the long-term successor to Sergio Aguero. That hasn't happened. And I think that if Tottenham were suggested that they could take Gabriel Jesus as part exchange for Harry Kane, I think they'd be quite dubious about that. I'm not sure that Jesus is the player that they would look at as being the perfect replacement. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a player that's going to get 20 goals a season. And they need to get somebody who's going to get 20 goals a season at least. Laporte, a great defender. He's kind of missed out a bit this season because of the emergence of Ruben Dias and the John Stones partnership. But would Laporte want to go to Tottenham? This is the big question. He'll be on good wages at Man City. He'll want to win things, and Tottenham, for me, if you're a defender, that's a hard task to be a Spurs defender, because they've got issues at the back, and City might offer these players, but I'm not sure the players will want to go. And in Jesus' case, I'm not sure that Spurs would want Jesus. I'm sure they'd love Laporte. I think Laporte is a fantastic defender. He'd be a great addition to Tottenham, but I just don't see these deals stacking up. I think City got the money to do the deal as it stands. I think that they could easily get it over the line and then let Spurs sign the players that they need. But maybe Daniel Levy at Tottenham might be a bit more creative. I think if City want Harry Kane, then maybe City are going to have to lose a really key player to get it. What about Raheem Sterling? What about one of these players that, Sterling hasn't played much recently under Pep. He's lost his place a little bit. He's got a contract to sort out. Why doesn't Daniel Levy push the boat out and try and get one of City's best players? I think that would be more amenable to Spurs, and it would suggest that they're losing their best player and we're getting a big player in return. So I don't think Spurs will be happy taking players that have just fallen on the fringes at City.
Well, let's talk about Manchester United now, because it's being suggested that they could offer not 1, not 2, but 3 players that probably are not in the best of favours at United right now. That includes Tony Martial, Daniel James, and of course Donny van de Beek, who we know things haven't been going as he probably wanted at Man United, although people do believe that he probably should be kept at Man United, considering he is quite young and still has a lot to offer. But are these the kind of players that would sweeten the pot for Daniel Levy to persuade him to let go Harry Kane to Man United? I
think if Man United offered Martial, Donny van de Beek and Daniel James plus cash for Harry Kane, I think Daniel Levy would slam the phone down. I think, again, Harry Kane is Tottenham's best player. He's a talisman. Daniel James and Donny van de Beek, I wouldn't really want to be taking those to Tottenham if they're part exchange. The squad players at Man United, so will they make a difference at Tottenham? Probably not. Anthony Martial, I think we've seen over the years that he's got a great talent, but he doesn't do it often enough. I don't think Tottenham need another player that would go into their team that would be, performing 1 every 4 or 5 games. I think again Tottenham would want a top player to replace Harry Kane. I don't think they want Anthony Martial would cut the mustard at Tottenham. I really don't. But then United haven't really got that many players who you could say would be usable in a part exchange. They're not going to offer Paul Pogba or Bruno Fernandes to get Harry Kane because they're the best players at United. So it's a tough one for Man United to get over the line. Goalkeeper wise, maybe David De Gea or Dean Henderson could be part of the equation, because I know that Spurs are kind of looking to find a successor at Hugo Lloris, but I don't think Man United have got many players that Spurs would actually want, and this is a problem that United face. And also you have to ask the question, whoever the Tottenham manager is, who will he want? Will he want these players to come in like Anthony Martial, Donny van de Beek? I think if United are going to get Harry Kane, they're going to have to spend a lot of money to do it, because I don't think they've got anyone at the club who would conceivably be considered by Tottenham as being adequate in any part exchanges, because I don't think they're good enough to replace Harry Kane.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.